the fact that the letter, a statement has been put out by the governor's spokesperson, does this not therefore mean that okay, he's going back on his medical leave? You want him to leave. He's no longer on the scene for now, and he will be transmitting power to his deputy. So things are going to return to a bit of normal. Governance in Ondo State will continue as it should for now. Does this not mean that you should shelve your protest?
No, the reason we got all of us got involved in this is just beyond one man being sick. There are other issues involved, including, as we now know, criminal activities that involve forgery of the signature of the governor. The embezzlement within a short period of time of 7 point something billion naira by unknown persons in the state, claiming that they were using it for security votes. How do you spend security votes with forged signature and you want people to just watch and not do anything about it? And also to let them know that this cannot be repeated after the Akeredolu episode. Not in our own part of the world anymore. So the governor is incapacitated. There's a constitutional crisis in the state, and it must be resolved at once. We do not want to have to deal with this in another few weeks, days, and whatever is not right is just not right. Nigerians have found themselves in the kind of country we are now because we always find a way around very germane issues by providing excuses. Okay, they have said they are going to let's just let it go. So you let go, and you have let go of a whole country of 200 million people. The country itself is an ungoverned space where legality reigns supreme and impunity has become the order of the day. That's what it is about it. The dignity of the Nigerian people resident in Ondo State. Right. There is no other way around this. You cannot continue to take people for granted like this and expect them to just watch and do nothing about it. The people of Ondo State in general are seen as very stubborn, very nonsense. People invoke the name of Ondo State people to fight for their rights. When it's time for Ondo State people to fight for their own rights, they are nowhere to be found. And that's also an irony. But I also want to make it clear it's a shame that the House of Assembly in the States are also not doing what is right by the people who supposedly elected them into office. And I also condemn the involvement of the Nigerian president, Bola Tinubu, in the such changing of governance in Ondo State. I don't know why Tinubu is always comfortable with forgery. It's very sad.
All right,
shameful.
But yes. About that, Comrade Sowore, about that. We don't have any information as we speak that Rotimi Akeredolu, governor of Ondo State, is incapacitated because you said he can't write, he can't speak, and he doesn't have the presence of mind. I'm just paraphrasing what you said, but we don't have any concrete proof.
You are hearing from me because apart from being an activist, I'm a journalist, so
yeah, I said that
we are in the same profession. Even though you may call me, that you may not accept that I'm a journalist.
No,
in the sense that
I introduced you as a journalist when we started, and when we came back.
So I get information and I'm sharing it with you.
All right, but the Constitution is clear that for a governor or a deputy governor to be declared medically unfit or any other way unfit to be to continue to occupy office, there's a process, and that process is captured like we discussed yesterday in Section 189 of the Constitution, which says, and I quote, subsection 1, the governor or deputy governor of a state shall cease to hold office if A, by a resolution passed by 2/3 majority of all members of the Executive Council of the state, it is declared that the governor or deputy governor is incapable of discharging the functions of his office, and B, the declaration in paragraph A of this subsection is verified after such medical examination as may be necessary, by a medical panel established under subsection 4 of this section in its report to the Speaker of the House of Assembly. Now, subsection 2 says, where the medical panel certifies in its report that, in its opinion, the governor or deputy governor is suffering from such infirmity of body or mind as renders him permanently incapable of discharging the functions of his office, a notice thereof, signed by the Speaker of the House of Assembly, shall be published in the official gazette of the state. It says the deputy, subsection 3 says, deputy governor shall cease to hold office as from the date of publication of the notice of medical report pursuant to subsection 2 of this section. Subsection 4 says the medical panel to which this section relates shall be appointed by the Speaker of the House of Assembly of the State and shall comprise 5 medical practitioners in Nigeria. A, one of whom shall be the personal physician or the holder of the office concerned. And B, 4 other medical practitioners who have, in the opinion of the Speaker of the House of Assembly, attained a high degree of eminence in the field of medicine relative to the nature of the examination to be conducted in accordance with the foregoing provisions of this section. I'm sorry I bored you all with that, but Commissioner, what I'm saying is we cannot say the governor is incapacitated except we go through the processes to declare him so.
You know, I want to address this by telling you that I happen to be one of the people in this country who has never believed in the Nigerian constitution, the 1999 military imposed constitution. And as a result, I'll be wasting my time discussing with you the affirmation of a constitution that wasn't made by the people. It's part of our problem, is that we didn't make our own constitution. It was imposed on us, just as the colonial masters imposed in 1960. The military junta imposed another constitution to the point that in 1999, when Obasanjo was being sworn in, nobody has a copy of this constitution you are quoting. But the other part of it is that the constitution also did not anticipate. Let's assume that the constitution exists because somehow it does. It didn't anticipate that the governor will travel for medical treatment, treated with taxpayers' money. He will return back to the country and not go back to work and become inaccessible. The other part of it is that the problem of this country is that there are 2 categories of citizens, the ones that are above the law and the ones that are beneath it. So the ones that are beneath it can never have access to the rule of law when those who are above it are involved. And there's nobody who is listening to you this morning who believes all these things that has been quoted and written in the constitution, because it's meant for the poor and not for the rich and powerful. The Speaker of Ondo State House of Assembly is also complicit in this, just like the Speaker of Nigerian House of Representatives was complicit during Yar'Adua's time in 2010, Bankole and the rest of them, and David Mack. They weren't going to do anything because they were benefiting from the war. But let's even assume that the Yar'Adua situation was bad enough. They still even tried to bring Yar'Adua back into Aso Rock. So you could technically say that even though Jonathan was acting president at that time, Yar'Adua was back, he was back in Aso Rock, but was not back in office because he was incapacitated. And that was the reason it was said that we could invoke a doctrine of necessity. Right now, nobody in Ondo State, members of Akeredolu's cabinet, can tell you they have seen him in the last 2 months. Nobody can tell you his location. Everybody's just saying that some people said they saw him in Ibadan, some said they saw him in Lagos. It's like apparition. And then now he's returning to Germany. Nobody's escorting him to the airport. We don't know the aircraft that is going to lift him from Abuja. Wherever he's going from. We don't know whether he's traveling from Abuja or Akure Airport or Ibadan Airport. Nobody knows all these things. So all these things that the constitution that you have read to me, they are meant for societies that are functioning. They are meant for society where there's respect for the rule of law, where there's transparency and accountability. The case we have here is not covered by what the constitution has said, because we are dealing with lawless people, completely lawless,
all right,
very wicked.
Yeah. Comrade, I'd like you to look down.
That we are not supposed to be having this conversation at all. It's a very simple thing.
I'd like to look down at your camera, please, so we can see your face well.
We are not resuming to work. Let the state be. Why would anybody, for that matter, hold on to power, that you weren't born with, to the detriment of 5 million people in Ondo State. I just don't get this. I don't know why we are here trying to read the constitution about the person who is incapacitated.
Okay.
Incapacitation means
Omoyele Sowore,
capacity
we can't see your face well, so we want to look down at the camera so we can see you. Yeah. So we can see you. Yeah, better.
So this man hasn't demonstrated any capacity since September. The capacity to even physically walk. He's only had 3 public outings in September. One where he returned and they arranged some kind of kangaroo meeting in his living room in Ibadan. Then some state governors went and visited him. And I think maybe I've not seen him ever since then.
Right.
So where did he demonstrate capacity? The place where he is elected to govern is Ondo State, not Oyo State.
All right.
If he hasn't set foot in that state, he has not gone to work.
All right.
That is why
All right.
I'm arguing
So
that going back on leave when you have not returned from leave doesn't make sense.